Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Fast Fish Wins: Why Speed Beats Size in Leadership. Here we go. There's an old assumption baked into how a lot of us think about business and leadership, that size is safety. That if you build something big enough, if your balance sheet is thick enough, your brand recognized enough, you've bought yourself protection from whatever comes next. Klaus Schwab put a different idea into words that has only become more true with time. He said, "In the new world, it is not the big fish which eats the small fish, it's the fast fish which eats the slow fish." Think about who's actually getting disrupted right now. It's rarely the small, scrappy companies nobody's heard of. It's the large, well-capitalized organizations that had every resource they needed and still lost ground because they took too long to decide, too long to ship, too long to admit the market had already moved past them. Size didn't save them. It just gave them a longer runway before the consequences showed up. Here's where a lot of leaders misread this idea, though. They hear fast and they think it means reckless. Move quickly, break things, decide on instinct, apologize later. That's not what's being described here, and it's not what separates the leaders who last from the ones who flame out. Real speed, the kind that actually protects an organization, is a discipline. It's the ability to shorten the distance between noticing something important and acting on it without skipping the thinking in between. Many organizations already have plenty of information sitting in front of them. Reports, data, warning signs from the field. What they're missing isn't insight. It's the will to move on that insight before the window closes. And this is where I think the current moment gets genuinely interesting for anyone leading a team or a company. We now have tools that can compress research, analysis, and drafting from what used to take weeks down to hours. That is real leverage. If you're not using it, you're choosing to move slower than you have to. Here's the catch, and it's the whole reason this topic belongs in a conversation about leadership rather than just technology. Faster inputs only produce better outcomes if the person receiving them can still make a sound call under pressure. The tools can hand you an analysis in minutes. They cannot tell you which risk is worth taking, which customer signal actually matters, or when to trust your gut over the data in front of you. That is still your job. The technology just removes your excuse for taking 3 weeks to do it. So how does this show up practically? Start by picking one recurring decision in your organization, something that comes up regularly, and actually time it. Track how long it takes from the first signal that something needs attention to the moment a final call gets made. Many leaders who do this exercise are surprised, and not necessarily in a good way. Then look at how you're sorting decisions. Not every choice deserves the same level of deliberation. Reversible decisions, the ones you can undo if you're wrong, should move quickly, almost by default. Save your careful, slow thinking for the calls you genuinely cannot take back. A lot of organizational drag comes from treating every decision like it's permanent. It also helps to look at where decision rights actually sit. Speed tends to die in committees, and a lot of those committees exist less to improve decisions and more to spread out blame if something goes wrong. Pushing authority close to the people who actually have the information is one of the most reliable ways to get faster without getting reckless. If you're using AI tools to speed up research or drafting inside your organization, it's worth asking an honest question. Has your approval process kept pace with that speed, or has it quietly become the actual bottleneck? A lot of teams have accelerated the input side of decision-making without touching the output side at all. And finally, build in the habit of reviewing your slow decisions after the fact. Not to assign blame, but to genuinely ask what caused the hesitation. Was it real judgment? Or weighing a risk that deserved careful thought? Or was it just habit, the organizational equivalent of muscle memory that no longer serves you? So here's a piece that I want to leave you with. The fish that survives in Schwab's framing isn't the one that simply moves first. It's the one with good instincts. Speed without discernment is just a faster way to be wrong, and plenty of leaders have learned that lesson the expensive way. The leaders who actually last, across changing markets and changing tools, are the ones who've trained themselves to do both at once. Move quickly and still think clearly. That combination has always mattered. It matters even more now that the tools around us move faster than we do.